welcome back to my channel. In today's video I am going to be doing a little bit of houseplant care because I may or may not have been neglecting my plants a little bit over the last few months, and there's just a few little things that I want to do. So I thought I would take you along and show you a little bit of how I care for some of my houseplants. So grab yourself a cup of coffee, get your houseplants that need a little bit of TLC, and let's look after them. Also, can we acknowledge what a fashion icon I am? I know. Okay, so I'm in my kitchen, and one of the first things I want to do is a few of my bigger leaved plants. Their leaves are just looking a little bit dull or looking a little bit blah. What I'm going to be doing is just going around and dusting off some of their leaves. So I like to use scrap cotton, so if you've got an old t-shirt, just cut it up into small pieces that you can use to wipe the leaves. I'm also going to be using some leaf shine oil. If you don't have leaf shine oil, what you can use is you can use a little bit of water, diluted milk, and just a smidgen of like a natural detergent, and that'll help clean the leaves, and the milk actually adds a bit of a shine to the leaves. Or you can just use straight water and a cloth. You can do whatever you want. But a handy little tip is if you have some peppermint essential oil, is to add it into the mixture that you're going to be using to clean your leaves, because peppermint oil is actually a really good pest deterrent. So it'll help keep pests off your beautiful plants. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my cloth. This is the plant I'm going to be cleaning. This is a Syngonium macrophyllum. And I've already added my peppermint into my leaf shine oil. So what I like to do is I like to tip a tiny bit out on the lid, and you don't need much. A little bit goes a long way. So just rub your material around in the lid to get some of the leaf shine, and then you just want to wipe the leaves gently. So use your hand underneath the leaf to obviously support the leaf, and then just give it a gentle wipe. And then what I like to do is get a bit of the rag that doesn't have the oil on and just lightly wipe some of that excess off. So what I will do is I will show you a before and an after, So I'll show you this leaf. So this is what this leaf looks like now. So I will go and I'll polish that leaf, and I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. It's amazing how much healthier it makes your plants look as well. If you have dull leaves on plants, it can just make them look sort of unhealthy and a little bit sickly, even if they're not. So yeah, if you use a bit of a leaf shine every now and again, give them a polish, makes them look super healthy. And also, actually, dust on plants' leaves can stop them from photosynthesizing. So you want to actually clean your plant leaves as often as you can to get rid of the dust buildup. And the reason why I like to use like old t-shirts and cotton material is it doesn't leave too much floof behind. So your leaves look nice and polished when they're finished. And that is what it looks like afterwards. Actually, another handy tip I thought I would mention as well is when you are cleaning your plants' leaves, before you clean them, give them a good pest check. This is probably the best time to do it when you're getting up and close with each individual plant. Give them a good once over, make sure there's no pests, and if there is pests, take that plant away from your other plants and then you can treat it. Because the last thing you want to do is be wiping all your plants' leaves with the same rag, not checking if they have pests, and transferring pests from plant to plant. So yeah, definitely give them a pest check before you start cleaning the leaves. So it's like 2-in-1 plant care. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean all the leaves on these plants on my plant shelf and my plant table here, because we have been just sanding these windows, so they still, even though I've cleaned them multiple times, have a little bit of sanding dust on them. So I am just going to quickly do that in fast mode, if only it was real life. So yeah. So another note I will add is there are some plants that you don't really want to be oiling or shining the leaves, particularly like velvet leaves, so like philodendron micans, anthurium crystallinum or clarinervium, but things like your philodendrons, your pothos, your hoya, monstera, adansonii, and normal monstera. Yeah, plants like that that sort of have a glossy leaf rather than a velvety furry leaf are the ones that you want to be cleaning. If you do want to clean your plants with velvet or furry leaves, what I like to do is I like to get a little paintbrush and I just go around and dust the leaves with a paintbrush by hand. So yeah, plants like Monstera adansonii, you want to be really careful when you're polishing the leaves because obviously they are full of holes and full of fenestration. So you want to just do small parts at a time, being careful not to rip or tear any of the holes. So I thought I would show you up close of what my adansonii leaves look like before and what they look like after. So yeah, they definitely look a lot healthier, a lot more vibrant than they do pre-dust. Okay, I have a confession. This is the dust off half of my peace lilies leaves. So yeah, I need to take my own advice and clean the leaves regularly because that is disgusting. Okay, so I am done polishing all my plants' leaves. Now I'm going to get on to watering. So I'll show you some of the plants that are in desperate need of water and what signs to look for when your plant is very, very thirsty. So let's go. So first off, I will show you my Hoya. And now if you look at the leaves, you can see that they are quite thin. There's some wrinkling on there. And when you give them a light squeeze, they are very, very soft and flexible. Normally Hoya leaves are quite thick, waxy and rigid. So when they're soft and pliable like this, you know it is time to water. And especially with this one, you can tell it is very soft, very floppy, very wrinkly, and in need of some water. And another example is my jade pothos and my Monstera adansonii, and you can just tell by these leaves here, they are curly, droopy, they are in need of water. So I am going to take these two down and give them a big thorough drink in the sink, let them completely drain, and then I'll hang them back up here, and I will do the same with this Hoya. So I am back in my kitchen and I like to use my filtered water to water my plants. So what I do is I basically go around the whole surface of the pot, give it a good soaking through, and then I will sit it down. And what that does is it kind of blocks the bottom hole so you can fill up the top of your pot with water, and then I'll turn it off. And as you can see, this is a very free draining soil. Because Hoyas are epiphytes, they don't like to be sitting in wet soggy soil, which is why I sort of wait so long before I water them. I give them a nice big drink and they're in very airy soil, so full of pumice, full of orchid bark, so it drains really freely, it dries out quickly, and there's not a lot of water sitting around the roots. And when most of the water has drained off here, I will then put it over here on a tea towel, just to let the rest of the water sort of soak through. So I will go and put the plant back. So as you can see, this pothos is very droopy and very, very thirsty. The leaves are quite dirty, so I'm going to go ahead, give it a thorough water, sit it over here on my stove top to let it drain on the tea towel, and while it's doing that I will wipe down the leaves as well. So this particular pothos is actually in pretty barky soil. I find it really enjoys the soil and it drains super quickly, because again, pothos don't like sitting in soggy soil. I've lost a fair few pothos to having too dense a soil and having the roots sitting in water. The roots just rot because they're quite thick and quite chunky roots. And I've noticed here that one of the leaves is looking a bit yellow, a bit naff, so I'm going to cut that off as well. So that's another thing I like to do. Let me pull you up to my face. That's another thing I like to do as well. So when I'm going around and watering my plants, cleaning the leaves, I also like to pluck off any dead leaves, any sort of rotting sheaths that are sitting around, because that is one way to attract fungus gnats, is if there's any sort of rotting material or composting material in the plant pot, that's what the fungus gnats will feed on. So that's another tip to help reduce. I'll show you the size of this Adansonii. It is ridiculous. It is so big and lush. I mean, look at the size of it compared to me. So she's going to need a lot of water, and the leaves are pretty good, so I won't probably fuss over them too much. I'll just give them a little bit of water. But yes, so I have spotted spider mite on my syngonium, so that's fun. So see what I mean? Like, if I wasn't doing this, I probably wouldn't have spotted it. It would have just sat there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to water this plant, treat the leaves, and I'm going to keep it separated from all my other plants so it doesn't transfer. And I will keep it isolated until the spider mites are gone. If they don't go, then into the compost she goes. I don't know how well you'll be able to see actually, because spider mites are very, very small, very pain in the ass. But if you can kind of see here, the little white spots, that is spider mites. So I cut this leaf off and into the bin it goes, and I'll treat the rest of the plant. Okay, for my last task, I am outside. I have my Boston fern, which needs a good trim, so I'm going to do that now, and then I can water it and bring it inside. And now you can see why I do it outside. So time to give this girl a drink. So one of the last jobs I have to do is this big Schefflera. I'm going to polish all the leaves, give it a good water, and remove some of the dead leaves from the top of the soil. And also have to give this Philodendron minima or Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. I need to give this a big water because obviously it is looking a little sad. There's still lots of new growth on it, but yeah, I'll give that a drink and then that's me done. So that concludes today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a little something from it. Don't forget to always care for your plants. Don't neglect them like I do, because you will regret it one day. I've lost a few plants to neglect. But then again, that is how we learn. Never stop learning. Don't forget to subscribe if you like planty videos, and don't forget to hit the little notification bell so you'll get a little notification every time I put up a new video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!